Oh, hey, good to see everybody again today. Welcome to spending the day here in the shop. Today, we're going to spend some time looking at my rear end.
That didn't sound right.
We're going to spend some time looking at the rear end for the Stitches Challenger. We got some stuff we need to determine.
This is My Cars Shop.
This rear end came out of a circle track car, and it's got some safety chains and some other stuff on here I want to get off, and I want to get this cleaned up and cleaned out and painted up. But actually, in the process of looking at it the other day, it looks like it might be bent. So we're going to check that out first, and we'll go from there. Obviously, it needs new brake lines, so we're not going to spend time trying to save those, and I want to get these backing plates off. Maybe. There we go. That one's already broke off, so that's good. I probably have some backing plates around that are already cleaned up and ready, but I guess I better get it.
If I had a hammer.
I think the best way to check this is just to get a piece of metal. I suppose we could lay one right from here to here and then measure down. The other option is to get one that lays in here. I guess let's see what I've got. I'm wondering about a piece of angle iron, but I don't know how straight that stuff is. I've got a ton of that around, or I've got some 2x3 box tube. I'm not sure what the lengths are on that. So let me dig around in my metal supply and see what makes the most sense. And let's get a dimension here on what we might need. So something a minimum. If I wanted inside the axle, we could do 55 inches. Anything bigger wouldn't matter if we were going to go over the flanges. So I got to cogitate on that just a little bit. The beauty of having a large supply of materials around is I happen to have a piece that's 55 inches. So let's lay this in here. We will assume, we shouldn't, but we will assume that our surface here is flat. And interesting. Doesn't really look terrible. Doesn't look good either. So I'm going to have to compare this just for comparison's sake to another rear end, but it looks to me like maybe it's bent on both sides. We thought it was bent on the passenger side rear, maybe from hitting the wall, which would be this side, but actually this side looks back further. This car had been wrecked a few times that this came out. A buddy of mine owned it. He used to roundy round a Challenger back in the day. But let's take a measurement. Maybe I need to do something more accurate than this, but let's see. We'll do measure up to the top of the tube. 3 3/8. I have to use maths and stuff. About 5/16. So we're 1/16 of an inch off, maybe. I wonder if it's an optical illusion. It's it's not even, yeah, I don't think I measured in exactly the same spot. That is 3 5/16. So the question is, I'm going to check a couple other rear ends around here and see if it's the same the way this is configured, because I'm concerned. I've never looked at this before, but I'm concerned that this axle is like this a little bit. Here, a little bit longer. This is out of a, just for reference purposes, this is 50 housing flange to housing flange, 50, basically 58 and a half. This one, housing flange to housing flange, is 56 and a half. So 2 inches wider. E body, 71 and up. B body. Now let's see if this does the same thing or not. Huh, that one actually looks bent. Let me get this down to the flange just to Nova Scotia. That one is 3 inches. 3 and a 3 and an eighth. But the interesting thing is it doesn't look. That one looks, this is out of another roundy round car, so I've got one back there that's not out of a roundy round car. We're going to check 2 or 3 more. But it doesn't look as splayed that way, so that's an interesting observation there. We're just about touching here on this end, and on that end it's, this is like an 1/8 inch and that's like a 1/4 inch, so an 1/8 inch off, which kind of, you know, let's go grab another one. This rear end actually came out of my 68 Roadrunner that I had in high school. I've had it all this time, you know, 726 years now I've had that one. Fortunately, this piece of metal is too long, but I did just kind of hold it up with it being on the end flanges as best as I could, and it actually looks like the rear end is like this a little bit. So that's interesting. I'm going to go grab another one. I've got another, I think I got another one of these, and I think I have another 71 and up B body, and I might have a C body back there. I got a whole bunch of them. So we'll just take a, you know, we're going to get a sampling is what I'm saying. And I see some of the same taper, and I'm wondering if it's the axle tube taper itself. Let's see if there's any bend to it. So that one's 3 and just under 3 1/4. Same thing. So I think maybe the issue here is just that one's within, what did I say, a 16th or an 1/8? I got to double check it. But as I'm working on this, something that I'm pondering, and I've got to think about this.
Isn't easy because it hurts.
I'm wondering if the 68 B body housing might fit in the E body and give me just a little more space in there for tires. I'd have to relocate the spring perches, but it's an interesting concept. I wonder if that's ever been done. I guess I've never looked into it before. So you guys drop it down there in the comments. Tell me your thoughts on that. Let's bring that one back up again. I don't think that's bent. I really don't. I think that's a normal taper. We're going to look at that again with the straight edge, but yeah, cogitating is what I'm trying to say. I grabbed another 70 in back B body housing. I'm not sure. I think those was maybe out of a Charger. I'm not sure. But I don't know. I don't remember where I got them all, but it doesn't matter. The laid the metal across, and it looks pretty straight. Straighter than that one does. So well, the other thing I'm wondering, and I'm going to have to get online, or if you guys know, let's do a quick dimension here. Let's just do outside to outside, just ballparkish. So that's about 48 and a half perch to perch. 46 and a half perch to perch outside. So if we were to do that, we could fit potentially a new set of perches. We buzz these off, put a new set of perches right here underneath the, I'll bring you over, behind the axle bump, and that would move our axle flange in a total of about 3/4 of an inch on each side, which isn't much, but that could make a big difference in tire clearance. I just had never pondered that before. I don't think there's anything wrong with this E-body housing, but it's an interesting thought. I'm going to do a little Google, see what I find, if this is a common thing that guys have done. But what I don't want to do is end up coming in too far and ending up with tire clearance problems against the inner wheel well, because then we'll just have to put spacers on, and did we accomplish anything? No. Well, it's actually a thing. Dr. Diff actually offers a bolt-in kit to put a pre-1970 B-body rear end housing in a 70 and up E-body. So if somebody offers it for sale, and I didn't find it, it was like $180 plus shipping. So if somebody offers it, here's the good news. I can make it. So I have options. I can buy the spring perches, cut those off, and weld new ones on, which I've done many times on different projects. I can make the relocation kit um, myself and just use the stock spring perches on the axle. That's the quickest way to go because it just relocates those springs into the narrower location for the E body. Or I can use the E body rear end, which I still look at that thing and it looks like it's just a little bit. I'm fine with that. My main, if it's a little bit, for as much as I'm going to drive the car, if it wears the tires a little bit, that's not that big a deal. But here's the here's the thing I'm thinking on that is, well, I was concerned it was one side, like, one was like this and one was like this, and it's not that way. Um, so I was concerned the car was going to go down the road, dog tracking kind of thing. Um, so this is an interesting development. I wasn't expecting that when I started this today, but that's part of, when you guys can't come here and you hang out with me in the shop. I wasn't even totally sure what I was going to do today, but I was looking at something else and somebody was, I saw a complete 8 3/4 rear end for sale for a Roadrunner or maybe it was a Challenger for like, I don't know, a couple $100 anyway. And I got thinking, I should really check out that rear end and make sure it's not bent. And I was gonna, if it was fine, I was gonna spend time cleaning it up and getting it painted and stuff. But this is kind of like taking a big right angle here that I wasn't expecting. So I think the next thing I need to do is, for every housing I have, I'm almost positive I have axles. And I don't, for either of those pre-70B body housings, I don't have the axles readily available. In other words, they're somewhere back there in my scrap pile. So I think I need to put some gloves on and just go a digging in the scrap pile and find those. There should be 4 axles out there. So I gotta find them is what I'm saying. This is the fun thing I have to sort through because there's like good um, lower control arms, which I don't even remember what those are out of. There are 413 parts. There's old chairs. There's bumpers off of Challengers and other parts. And there's a lot of stuff to sift through here. So yeah, I'm going to take a few minutes and I won't bore. There's one right over there. See it? There's an axle. See it? So that's probably one of the B body ones. Oh, look, a K-frame. Wonder what that's out of. But that's out of a Charger. Huh. What should be the same as an E body. I don't know. That could be a slant 6 one out of an A body. I don't know. I got so much crap around here. It's ridiculous. But so there's one axle there. Oh, there's another one. Look at that. See, I'm just standing here and there's another one right down right there. So there's 2. And then there's got to be at least 2 more. Let's see how many housings are over there on my little dolly. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. That one's got... Okay, so the B body and the B body. The big B body and the small B body are both missing their axle shafts. I think maybe the big B body, which is the one I took up first. I think that one, the axles are in the shop. But anyway, this is what we're up against. Found another one. Just started digging a little bit. Moved this one leaf spring. So I have no idea what that's out of. And there was one right there. I wonder if these are A body. I don't know. It doesn't. Yeah, these are A body. These are of a Valiant. Anyway, found one more. So we got 3 of the 4 or the 6 that we're looking for. I guess it's 6 total. Well, they were all in one spot, like almost like somebody had a plan. So I got them all dug out. All 6 of them were there. So that's good. So I need to go and get my chart out and find out. Well, it should be pretty easy to tell. There should be 4 that pretty much are the same, and then 2 that'll be a bit longer. But I got to measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Apparently I'm missing one. I thought I bought all 6 out. There was only 5. I got to go digging. Well, I've dug some more and I found a whole bunch more stuff I was looking for, but didn't find that other axle. And I think I'm just going to yield for that for now. I'm just going to get the truck out here one of these days before everything starts getting crazy here. And Becky just tried to die to death over there working in the garden. She tripped over something. Anyway, and just get the scrap metal loaded up into one of the pickups and get it out of here and sort through the good stuff and try to get all that stuff put back up in the barn where it belongs. Because when we moved here, I had all this stuff stored somewhere else, and the barn was full of straw and problems. And so there's a cement pad here, which I forgot was there. And I just threw all the good stuff there, and then somehow scrap metal just started getting piled on top of it. So got to sort it out. I just spent a whole bunch of time walking around, looking upstairs, just checking to see what other chassis parts that I have for this car. We have the K-frame, we have the posi rear end for this. If you're a purist, we'll call it a sheer grip. But we have a posi for the chally to drive everybody absolutely crazy who hates those terms. So it's a 323 gear, I believe, with a good sheer grip in it. And so we'll throw that in that B-body housing. I'm 90% sure that's the way I'm going to go. You saw the price on the kit to do the relocation, which is a bolt-in, or I can buy the purchase for, I think they're about 30 bucks. There were $15 there, but by the time you pay shipping and everything. So that's usually the way I go when I'm doing spring relocation. I dug around and I have the disc brake setup for this. I should have 2 sets. I looked, I could only find 1, but I was sure that I had a set aside for the 74 Swinger, and I'm sure that I have a set aside for scoops. So I only found 1 set, but it doesn't matter. A-body disc brake setups will work on the E-body and the B-body. We put them on the 69 Charger with no problem. Gave Joe a set of those years ago for that car. And so that works well. We got to buy, new tie rods and, the rubber parts for the front end and all that stuff. But I think we have all of the bones that I want for the drivetrain on this car. Motor, transmission, rear end. I don't have a drive shaft yet, but I know this spring we've got a whole truckload of drive shafts coming. So that'll be something we can pick through and find one, I'm sure, that'll fit this car. The only other bones we're missing are like the dash bezel, which I may just end up making that. The other thing that's really cool, I can't wait to share with you, I was approached recently about if I was willing to do some testing and review on a prototype part that a fellow was putting together for e-bodies. And we've been kind of back and forth. He's been just bouncing design ideas off of me. He's got it pretty well done, but there's minor things. And he's going to be testing the first one in his car. He's going to be making the second one this week, and he'll ship it up to me, and we'll debut it on the channel. We'll talk about what he's doing, and I'll share my honest thoughts about it. But I'm pretty pumped about it. I think it's a really cool idea, and it's going to dovetail right into some stuff we've already been doing on this car. So I think that's really cool. And I'm excited to share that with you guys. I apologize I didn't have more hands-on work for you guys to do today. I'm just not in a good headspace myself right now. And sometimes just the distraction of thinking for the future when we need to be putting all these parts in the car. I do need to start that process. The thought processes are just as important as the actual hands-on work. So as I have thought about the whole drivetrain and what needs to happen, now I'm aware of what I don't have, what I do have, and we're in really good shape on that as far as I'm concerned. And really, that is part of the process of building these cars is the time you spend thinking about what you're going to need for the next phase and gathering parts and looking at what you might have and what those parts need. And to me, that's just as important as cutting metal and welding stuff. So that's why I share it with you. I know some of you guys have commented you appreciate hearing the thought processes behind things, but yeah, we'll be back on that truck soon. I'm just been in a standstill because of life right now, but this was a fun day, and I appreciate you hanging out here in the shop with me. So maybe next time you'll be able to get your hands dirty.